Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and thank you for the acknowledgement of Nurses Week. I certainly appreciate that. My name is Danielle Shears. I am a registered nurse by profession, but my passion is in functional nutrition. I became certified a couple of years ago, and I'll tell you more about that story shortly. But I'm here today to talk about holistic approaches to health and how I got there, okay? So just take a moment and just think about this question. Have you ever wondered why you can eat the right thing, you can exercise, you maybe get a good night's sleep, but you still feel tired, stressed, and unwell? Well, what if I told you that true health is about much more than just your body? Or also imagine with me for a moment, if your doctor, you go into the doctor's office and your doctor asks you about your dreams, your family, your friendships, your joys, and not just about your blood pressure or what you're feeling. How different would that health journey look? So just ponder that for just a second. But the reality is, when we think of health, most of us picture physical fitness or the absence of disease. Like, oh yeah, well, I get up every day and I go to work, yeah, I feel pretty well. But true wellness is much more than that. Okay. Holistic health is an approach that considers the whole body, the mind, emotions, your spirit, even social or financial well-being. And you need all these to achieve real optimal health and a better quality of life. And this was something that I had to hone in on a few years ago when I experienced a health scare of my own. And really, this scare left me with more questions than answers. I literally just went through these batteries of days and nights where I felt like, will I ever get better? Am I really going to be in chronic pain for the rest of my life? How will I have enough energy to run around with my grandchildren? Those were real questions I had, as the medical field didn't necessarily have the answers. And so when the medical field could offer me nothing but medication, I knew that I had to take my health into my own hands. And that's where I kind of turned to holistic health. So we'll just look at it briefly and just look at what is holistic health? Like, what are you talking about? What does that encompass? Okay. So holistic health, it treats the whole person, not just symptoms and not just an isolated condition, okay? The whole person. Secondly, it recognizes the deep connections between physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual health. And they've even thrown in the financial piece as well, okay? And it looks at how they all work in harmony to achieve optimal health. Then third, the goal is not to just treat the illness, but to prevent it in the first place. So I love how holistic health, if you're already in a situation where you have to, recover from something, yes, let's get you past that point. But then how do we prevent more? So I love that holistic approach. Thank you. And then it empowers individuals in self-care. So let's look at key principles of holistic health. Personalization. That right there is key, because each person's health journey is unique. So we're all unique. We all need something different. Holistic care tailors strategies to individual needs, preferences, and beliefs. And just if you could just compare real quickly, here I am. Here's a woman, 34. Here's another woman she's 34 years of age. We're both women. I have high blood pressure. She has high blood pressure, but she has 4 kids, works a stressful job, and also has to work a second job. Then you have this other one. She's still 34. She's a woman, but she has 2 kids. She has a nice cush job, or maybe she's even a stay-at-home mom. How will both of those comparatively, what will like their heart health particularly look like? And maybe some of the other things that they are going through, okay? So that personalization is so key, because the next person can't possibly get through the same disease process in particularly than you can. So this whole cookie cutter notion of, okay, you came in with this symptom, okay, you're going to get this same pill that this other person got with that same symptom. It needs to be more personalized, okay? Second, prevention. focuses on maintaining balance and preventing illness, not just responding to the symptoms. We got to get to the core of what's going on. Third, empowerment. Okay, this encourages individuals to take an active role in their health decisions and daily habits. I remember going over a study a few years ago where the university looked at the top 3 reasons why more than half of Americans are on chronic medications. And they looked at the top 3 reasons. Number 1 is that many Americans and their doctors feel that every symptom and even hint of disease needs to be treated with a medication. The second reason was many providers are selling sickness and fishing for diagnosis, leaving a lot less time to find the source of why you're experiencing that sickness. And this kind of, it's kind of mainly driven from the pharmaceutical companies, which is a sad phenomenon. They're taught to prescribe something. So that is where kind of that comes from. And then the third reason, not enough engagement in our own health. I don't know about you, but that third one, not enough engagement in our own health, to me trumps them all. Because you can kind of do away with the first 2 if I was taking charge of my own health and I was having that collaborative conversation with my doctor and really honing in. The other 2 wouldn't even be a possibility. Okay, so that third one, engagement in your own health. Then they're looking at the root cause and focus. You got to get to the root of it. I don't know about you, but I don't want you to pad the symptoms and put me on a pill long term. I want you to actually figure out what the source is so that I can treat the source, okay? And then the mind-body connection. So again, 6 components of holistic health. We're looking at the physical, we're looking at the emotional, the mental, the social, the spiritual, and the financial. So what are the benefits? What are the benefits? You said all that to say what? Here are the benefits. Stronger immune system. We all were here 5 years ago when our world experienced COVID-19 and what that looked like. And if you can think back, who were the people that succumbed most to COVID-19? It was those with weaker immune systems. Our immune system is so important, and there's so many things that we can do daily to strengthen our immune system. I could be sitting here right now talking to you, and it seems like I'm well and not have a strong immune system. And that's because we don't necessarily hone in enough and make sure that we're taking care of our immune system, okay? But holistic approaches encompasses and make sure that you have a strong immune system. So that is key. Better pain management, stress management, improved mental health, enhanced quality of life. And this one I love the most is long-term wellness. I don't know about you, but I'm over the 30, the 60, the 90-day fixes, the 30, the 60, the 90-day programs. They all work for 30, 60, or 90 days. But then what? What do we do after that? In this information world, we're so bombarded with so many programs and eat this and eat that and do this and do that, this exercise, but who is teaching me how to sustain this for life? Okay, so the holistic approach will help with that, okay? So why does this matter? Okay, imagine focusing on only your physical health. Think about that for a second. Imagine this physically fit but emotionally drained executive. Okay, he eats a wonderful diet, works out, never misses a workout, yet he's constantly anxious, overwhelmed by stress, struggles with insomnia. What is going to be at the end of all of that? Potential high blood pressure, potential, heart disease. Okay, so what did it benefit for him to be so physically fit, but he's emotionally drained? Or that athlete that has no social support. He's dedicated to his training every day, maintains excellent physical condition, but feels isolated and alone. We've seen over the last few years what that sense of loneliness leads to. Depression, and not to be daunting, but ultimately, as of late, leading to suicide. So what does it profit him to be physically fit if he is not socially or emotionally well. And then I think about my own self with what I went through with the health scare that I had. I was able to transform my uh, food and my nutrition because after seeing a neurologist and then after seeing a rheumatologist, they wanted to put me on medication. But I didn't have a diagnosis. I had these lab values that were out of whack. I had inflammation that covered my entire body, hands swollen, feet swollen, face swollen. They could not figure out what was wrong, but they wanted to immediately put me on a medication. And it was no coincidence that 2 weeks prior to me seeing the rheumatologist that I saw a functional nutrition program go across my screen. And I honed in on it and I was like, And I looked a little deeper and I looked a little deeper. And as I researched that, I realized the power of nutrition and how it can decrease inflammation. I asked my rheumatologist to give me a couple of weeks, and then I was able to turn things around. However, over time, I still found that I had the migratory joint pain. There was still some residual things. So as from a holistic standpoint, I had to say, okay, let's look at the spiritual. Let's look at the emotional. Let's look at the other areas that I'm going through. Why do I still have this residual symptoms hanging out? And as I looked at the spiritual, there's something that's called spiritually rooted disease. And when you looked at what I was experiencing was kind of autoimmunity symptoms. And so I had to look at the spiritually rooted diseases. And what did I find under autoimmune? Self-hate, self-doubt, self-bitterness, unforgiveness. So guess what I had to do? I had to look in over my life. I had to look back. I had to think and figure out how that was going. I had to forgive. I had to do, am I bitter? Am I self-doubting? You know, those are the things that I had to consider, and I had to go down that road because I meant it. I wanted to heal for real. And it was, God just really led me that direction. And from that point on, no more residual effects at all. So that holistic approach, had I just stopped at the nutrition or the getting in shape, physically in shape and that sort of thing, because I did lose a lot of weight, I felt great, but it wasn't until I addressed the spiritually rooted part that I felt whole. So I encourage you today, when you are thinking about taking control of your health, you got to do the holistic approach. And I have, in my business, I've formed a business, Better Choice Health. And from that, I was able to help many family members and friends. And then I've also written a book called My Own PCP, where you are able to walk through with me, where we can walk you through how to heal from the inside out from a holistic approach. Thank you very much.
Incredible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody give us, we know we had some medical doctors. We even had a surgeon that talked exactly about what you were talking about. And so this is amazing. This journey with your own personal journey and how one can improve on their nutrition health. So everyone write us a comment. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you want to be a speaker on our show, make sure you tell us so that we can bring you in. We record every month with a new topic, and we are looking forward to having you all on Discover Brightside, whether you want to be in our Facebook group or LinkedIn, or you want to watch this at a channel where you are, or you want to be a part of the community. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you.